Great day, Attractive Thinkers. Welcome back to the Attractive Thinker Mental Health TV. Dr. Tony Hatton here, your identity coach and get to the root specialist at theattractivethinker.guru. Welcome my co-host. We're actually co-hosting together, Noreen Sumpter. Noreen has an amazing story. You know, on our Mental Health TV, we support entrepreneurs with mental healing, mental strength, and mindset maintenance. And I'm really excited for Noreen to share her entrepreneurial experience. She has a nice little twist on what it is that she does. And I trust that you have your Attractive Thinker notebooks handy. Welcome, Noreen.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a long time.
Yes, it has. Tell our audience our experience, how we met.
So I met Tony at a workshop for a coach, and she's very popular, Fabienne Fredrickson. And that was what, roughly 11 or more years ago?
Yes.
Can I tell you something that's extraordinary? I wouldn't say it's funny, it's extraordinary. So I met this woman called Wendy Gould at the mastermind that Fabric had put together. And Fabienne had said at the time that we should all get ourselves an accountability partner. And I've had many accountability partners in food, in exercise, and all the things that equal life, right? And so I met Wendy. I don't know how I think we actually shared a room together, but I'm not sure. And I met Wendy. She was an older white lady. And we just got talking and hit it off. She was from Canada, and she said to me, Noreen, you want to be my accountability partner? And I said, sure. What time do you want to start? So she says 5:30 in the morning. I was like, what? She said 5:30 in the morning. So this little voice, you know, my unconscious mind said, Noreen, just do it, shut up. You said you want to get up early, just do it. Do you know that we've been doing it since back then to today?
Wow.
Yeah. And Wendy has traveled all over the world and the United States, and we still do it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is the longest accountability partner I've ever had. You know, I've had accountability partners for exercise, which, you know, it's like we do 3 months. Do you want to re-up? Because, you know, you got to give people space, right? You want to re-up. Yeah, I want to re-up. And then all of a sudden, people start to like sabotage. Oh, I can't get up. I went out last night. I had a drink. And you're like, oh my God, I've now sort of depended on this person, you know, to be accountable to. Right? Whereas when I was working out by myself, I would just get up and go run in the park. And now it's a breakdown, right? And I'm here. I have to recreate the whole process all over again. But when it comes to exercise, I will no longer have an accountability.
Got it. You know, Noreen, I remember when I met you, you were really heavily into self-love. Right. Today, you know, I think that's what we're going to be talking about today. What if you're wrong about how you're feeling? Noreen is going to talk to us about self-love, and even the accountability partner that you had, that was an act of self-love for yourself, because we all need accountability partners, you know, to support us, because even, you know, with this greatness inside of you, it needs to be stimulated. It needs to be connected to other people who are actively expressing their greatness. You know, you've heard the phrase iron sharpens iron, you know, and when you talk about accountability, I love it, because we need them in all areas of our lives, not just one area. So today we're going to be talking about this self-love. And I think you're the best person that I know, Noreen, to shine the light in this area about self-love, because when people hear it, they're thinking one thing. I know now you might want to touch on this as well, but because I know that this has been in conversations that I've had. When people talk about self-love, you also hear the phrase, like sometimes when people express what they're going through or what they desire and why they don't have it, somebody might say, well, you don't love yourself enough. I think that, you know, when people hear that, you know, you could feel 1,000,001 ways about that. I don't love myself enough. Right. I mean, no one wants to admit that they don't love themselves, you know.
Well, I think Well, people do. That's one of the questions that I usually ask clients that I work with. I'm just writing it down, right? That's one of the questions that I usually ask people when I work with them. Do you love yourself?
Mm.
And the longer it takes to answer that question is when the truth pops out.
Wow.
Right? When they say, no, right? But we do love ourselves. Yes. We do love ourselves, but maybe not in the way that society, which is us, and others, which is also us, says you should love yourself. Because there are people out there that be like, oh, you should go get your nails done and your hair done and your, really nice clothes and dress up every day. That does not equal self-love. Wow. That to me, that doesn't. Like if you really are doing it because you enjoy doing it, look, like I talked about my nails, like I did them yesterday and now today they're all chipped off and gone, right? Yeah. Does that, if I go out with chipped nails, does that mean I have no pride in myself? I don't love myself? Or does it mean that like, I wasn't paying much attention to this and I didn't take the nail polish off, or I'll get to it at some point, but I've got other priorities. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do.
I think that my assistant is checking. I think that self-love is personal. It really is personal. For me, what is self-love? Right? For me is honoring myself, honoring my word, right? Saying yes when I can, saying no when I don't want to, right? It's about taking care of my health. I'm experiencing diabetes. I really want to live healthily and live well. So I follow the protocol. I created a protocol. I question everything. I don't just take things at face value from the doctor. I don't sit in a space of worry, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm going to die one day, preferably not right now, but it's a whole world of things. It's not just the physical. This is just our vehicle and we want to treat it accordingly. But it's really what we feel. It's like a soul experience. We know when we're taking care of ourselves. And it goes a lot deeper than the physical. It's also goes along with how you treat your neighbors, how you treat the people in the store. It's all a representation. How you treat people is how you treat yourself, I believe. So self-love that's just my interpretation. Somebody else might have a different interpretation.
Noreen, you're exactly right. And I was thinking that while you were talking. So you said self-love is personal. So how would a person clarify that they're operating in self-love versus not operating in that? I mean, if it's personal, meaning to each individual, and everybody has their own expression of self-love, how would one categorize that? For example, people go to therapy. What is the therapist and your life coach? What is a therapist using to determine whether a person is operating in self-love or self-hate if self-love is personal? Let's clarify.
Well, I can't assume that you're operated in self-love or self-hate. I hope it's not self-hate. That's a lot of energy, right? But I can ask you and then ask you to clarify, because it's not about what I'm saying. It's not what about I'm giving. It's about what you're giving me. And then I reflect back at you. You get to hear and you get to, I ask you what you want. What do you want? What do you want to accomplish? Right? And then inside of that, we lay out action steps. Well, I help them to create the action steps for them to do it. And then I give them accountability by this time or by this time. When you come back, like, let's do one thing. Or, just doing one thing and that one thing it spirals into completion, right? It's not I'm just here as a guide, right? I always say to my clients, I'm like wings just under you, slowly helping you, right? Blame me, right? I always say to a client, if you want something and you have to ask a person and you're scared to do it, blame me. Say your coach asks you to ask them. Put it over here on me. But I'm here just to lift you a tiny bit, just to move you forward, because I can't give you anything. I can't, because if I give you anything, I'm going to give you me. You're going to be another copy of me. right? My job is to ask the questions that turn the light bulb on so that you start thinking and then taking the actions that are necessary for you.
So what would you say, let's say, and this is the first time an attractive thinker has heard this expression called self-love. What would you say, what are some examples of self-love? Because a lot of times we're operating in self-love and don't know that that's what it is, because we have names for things. I remember being in the school system and they would ask me questions, about certain things. And I'm like, I'm not familiar with the terminology that you're using, but if you tell me what that means, I can tell you whether that applies to me or not. So sometimes people get stuck on words, not understanding that they are operating in self-love. They just don't call it that. So give us some examples of self-love for you, since it's personal.
So self-love for me is getting up in the morning, doing my Pilates. Excuse me, I've got menopause, people. See this? This is menopause. I sweat, right? That is self-love, being truthful about what I'm experiencing. Look, see all this here? This is menopause. It makes me really sweaty, right?
Yeah, and we can't see that on camera.
Well, I can feel it, right? And so, so it's really about telling my truth, right? I'm going through menopause right now. Nobody spoke about it. It's just one of those areas. Nobody spoke about it, right? And I'm going through it. And so my friends will say to me, why are you sweating so much? I've got menopause. Or I went to a conference at the Ritz, at the Russian Tea Room a few years ago. And I was talking to this gentleman and this lady, and all of a sudden the sweat just started pouring down my face. And the guy said to me, are you okay? And I said, watch and learn. I said, this is menopause. One day you'll have a wife and she'll go through this. And now you'll know why she's sweating like this. And so the woman looked at me and she's, right? But it was not like, really? It was like, why are you talking about that? Because it's real.
Wow.
It's real. Nobody spoke about that, right? Nobody spoke about it. People say things like, it's like you just said, they'll say something I don't understand.
Yes.
But they'll say things like personal summer.
Yeah.
I don't know what bloody personal summer is. Yeah. When I had no idea.
Yeah.
Right, but that's to make it PC. That's to sort of make it like light of it. This is a serious issue that women are going through, and going through in business, and going through making presentations, and going through at like formal settings where they're just sweating like, I don't know, like a pig or a donkey. Pigs don't sweat, right? And so it's, for me, being self-love is being truthful about what's going on with me, what my fears are, what my concerns are, or what my fears were. You can't conquer a fear until you can own it, right? So that is like, what am I going to do? Sit in fear, sit in, anguish? Why not just share, right now I'm scared, or right now my confidence, I don't feel confident about that, right? Once you've accepted it, then you can release it, then you can move forward. That for me is self-love, telling my truth. So in my motto is for my business is own your voice, speak your truth, and then live life the way you want to live it. And living as freely as possible. For me, my number one priority in life is fun. I swear to you, my number one priority in life is fun.
I can see
right?
that.
Which is it to be happy. And to be happy is to be self-expressed, right? Fully self-expressed, to be able to ask for what I want, right? To be able to share what's important to me. That's for me, self-love. Like hiding myself, or as they say, that statement, hiding yourself behind a bushel. No, it hurts me to have to hide.
So that right there, Noreen, that's awesome. That's a great place to start for attractive thinkers who may have heard this for the first time or not sure how self-love applies to them. You mentioned some really powerful words. You said fully self-expressed.
Yeah.
Now, along with that, that means along with that comes your confidence level, your ability to be authentic, your ability, and you use the word accept, to accept all of who you are and be okay with it. And be okay with it. That's a form of loving yourself. Just like, and you know, I use this with my clients sometimes because, like I said, sometimes they can't see what I'm saying. They don't have a visual. So I said, okay, think about a child. We all know how to handle children. We handle them with love and concern, and we try to meet their every need and keep them safe and things like that. So what about us? What about you? Can you handle yourself that way? Can you speak up for yourself? Can you let, like you said, can you let your voice be heard and be okay with it? Can you fully express how you feel, even though it may be contrary to popular opinion? You know, all of that is a form of self-love. To me, what I'm getting from you, Noreen, is that self-love is owning who you are in the world.
Owning the good, the bad, and the ugly of us.
Yes, yes.
You know, I always think of the good, the bad, and the ugly, that movie.
Yes, yes, yes. Owning all of that. So I love it. So when it comes down to talk about share your entrepreneurial journey, and I love the twist that you have about, because it's a different perspective other than like you said, being a boss lady. Talk to us about that.
Right. So you know, I know a lot of people are going to probably want to punch me in the face for it, but it's okay. Punch away, right? So on that word entrepreneur, it's really just kind of spun out of control. Everybody's an entrepreneur. And I guess everybody is if you're doing something, right? But I just refer to myself as a person that is running a very small business, that is taking care of myself, making my money, playing in my playground, which is coaching. I love it, right? Playing in my program, being of service, right, to my clients and the people that impact me, and I impact them. I don't look at it as like I'm trying to run this conglomerate or try to operate that I'm running a conglomerate, right? I'm not. It's like I always say that I'm not Oprah, right? I don't have a grip. I don't have a lighting guy. Like I have to wipe my own sweat. Right? I have to reduce my own shine, right? So I'm doing the things that I enjoy doing, and it makes me the money that I want to make, right? I'm not saying I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah, I get the concept, but it's too broad for some people. It's too broad, right? We're small business owners. I'm not looking to turn my business into this multi-million-dollar thing with 100,000 people working. No, if it went that way, if it goes that way, great. But it's not what I'm creating, right? I'm creating what is like cottage industry, which is a small business. I term it like a thick soup, right? So I'm a thick soup that is hearty, right? And that how people hear about me is through the word of mouth or watching this video, and they say, you know what, I want to try her on. See how she does, if we can work together. I'm not looking to do millions of dollars of marketing and wasting my time. No, it's not wasting my time, but like stressing myself out with marketing and things like that. I'm quite happy to walk down the street, have a conversation, go into the coffee shop, and which I do, go into the coffee shop and meet tons of people, and they say, what do you do? I tell them what they do. Can I get your number? And that's how I like to flow. I like to have it be word of mouth. And I do some things on internet. I love doing that, even though I don't like talking into thin air, right? I'll do the internet stuff. I'll post, I'll create, workshops and things like that, which I love doing. And the key for me is love doing, right? And so I know when we have these businesses, we have aspects of it. I don't like doing the bookkeeping of it, right?
Yeah.
So I give it away. I let the bookkeeper take care of it, and I just check it. I don't like doing the accounting, so I make money to give it away so somebody else can do it, right? But in the beginning, it was like I was doing everything, trying to do everything, right? And I realized it's easier to make money and give away the things that I don't want to do. And that's really what it's about. But I'm not like this entrepreneur and like all shiny and glossy and, you know what I mean? And then it's like a big pretense. Yeah. Doesn't work for me. And also that conversation, boss lady, I am not a boss lady, right? I don't want to boss anybody around. And I get the interpretation of boss lady, but it's just not me. I'm just Noreen. having fun, creating my business, like working with my clients, providing them service, making sure they were well taken care of, making sure that they got what they got when they came to me. They got what they wanted, right? And I will go through hell and high water. I'll go through hell wearing the gasoline drawers to make sure they get it. Because when they get it, I love it. Yes, they pay me. But the payment is just, it's an agreement, right? But when they actually fulfill on that thing that they wanted and they did the work, oh my God, it's orgasmic.
Wow.
It's orgasmic.
That like because it's a win-win. You win because that's your passion to help other people experience these trends.
It is absolutely a win-win because I can't do what I do if I don't have clients. And I can't win if they're not winning. So it's critically important that they win and they do the work. And majority of my clients, I would say recently I had one client who came to me, and I'm going to refer to him as a him, in quotes, right? Who wanted to have a relationship. They wanted to get married. And I said, I can't promise you that. But what I can promise you is what, and so you can see what is in the way of you, you know, not getting what you want. It was her behavior. And we are not our behaviors, we have certain behaviors. So it's really to have her look at her behavior and then to modify it. But you know, you get the occasional client who wants to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Right. And then they want to like make you wrong because they didn't get the result that, well, I didn't promise you a husband. 3 months does not a husband make. So if you do the work and you're available, I met my husband, I was married in 4 months. I mean, you know, but then I was 19. I wasn't 59. Do you get what I mean? It's a whole different world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You have certain behaviors that you've been practicing for X amount of years. You have children inside of relationships what you're not connected to. And then you want to create this wonderful, amazing relationship that you're still not going to be connected to because you haven't done the cleanup. You know, we have to do the cleanup. We have to go within, look at what's working, what's not working. Thus, if I transformed it and put in what's missing, it will make a difference.
That's amazing that you mentioned that, because doing the cleanup, like you said, is an act of self-love. So many people avoid the cleanup. They're afraid of it. They don't know how to approach it.
We've all been there.
Yeah, they're afraid of what they're going to find. I have too. And that's what I want you to start, you know, share with us, Noreen, because the earlier stages of my entrepreneurial journey, that's like, those are the first barriers. That's like the first area that needs to be addressed before you can really have that fully self-expressed experience.
Right.
So talk to us about that.
Totally. So I believe this. So I became a coach in 2005 when I did my certification. Well, the truth of the matter, I was coaching I'm coaching since I was a child, because that's just who I am, right?
Yes, exactly.
Right? But I've been doing it officially since 2005, right? And every day is new. Now, before I became a coach, I was a real estate broker. I did that for like 16 years, right? And I absolutely loved it. But what I realized is that I was asking coaching questions to my clients when they would come and visit with me. So I did really well as a real estate broker. It was awesome. And then I got to that point where, you know, I went to Haiti. I did a mission to Haiti with a friend of mine. There was flooding in this small town called Mapu. For some of you Haitian people, you might not even know it because it's that remote. It was one of those places that was so small. And so it seemed, I mean, this is my opinion, it seemed so behind time that I was like, oh my God, I'm expecting Massa to come out and tell me that he's been looking for me, right? Because everything just looked, the donkeys looked different because they were so inbred. Small little town, right? And we get there and it's like the water's so high, you could literally row a boat and pick a coconut if there was one to pick, right? So I came back to America and I laid on my couch and cried for 2 weeks. I just cried and cried and cried. Every moment I just cried, and I was crying about my life. Now, my life wasn't bad. You know, I was making good money. I had great friends. I had nice apartments. All the accoutrements, right? And I was crying because I thought real estate was going to be my life. I thought I was going to do it for the rest of my life because that's just how much fun I was having with it, right? And everything was clicking. Set a goal, I reached the goal, set a goal, reached the goal, right? And then it was just like, I had to get honest with myself. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. It became, for a short space of time, a challenge. I mean, the last house I sold, I think it was about 7 blocks away from where I live. And all I had to do was go on a Sunday and show it. And I was like, get up in the morning, oh God, I've got to show this apartment. But who I am in my internal self, it's like, Noreen, you can't be a quitter. You can't quit this, right? But I'm like, oh God, I've got to show this apartment. So I would do baby steps, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. I baby stepped it to the house. And then I would go like this. It's showtime, right? Because I had to really create myself to do the job. So I'd show the house, blah, blah, blah. Then I would leave. I only had to be there for an hour. And I was the only realtor, okay? So it wasn't like challenging. And I actually, the seller actually, somebody came to him and asked him, and he called me and said, no, can you show the house? And that's how I sold it, right? $80,000 cash in my hand, right? But it was just like, I realized, I thought I ran by money, right? But I don't. I run by joy and happiness and fun. And it was no longer fun. And I cried on my couch for 2 solid weeks. And I had this friend who used to say to me, oh, let's go to church. And I'd be like, no, let's go to the bar. And she'd go, let's go to church. And I'd be like, no, let's go get a drink. Then it dawned on me, I could do both, right? Because I also lived in a one or the other world. I never lived in a world of I could have it all, right? So I went to church with her and I fell in love with the music. I'm not a religious person, but I do respect all religions, right? And I'll go to any religious church, a synagogue, a mosque. I've been to them all, right? And because I'm curious. Yeah. And so I used to go, and I remember one day going, and this woman comes up to me. She said, "How you doing?" And I said, "I'm fine." She goes, "What are you doing now? You still doing real estate?" And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I thought I knew this woman, right? I don't know what I'm doing. She goes, well, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know what I want to do. And she said, you do know what you want to do. And I said, I don't know what I want to do. And I said, because every time you say you don't know what you want to do, I want you to get a jar and I want you to put a quarter in there. And I said to her, how do you know that I'll do it? She goes, I know who you are.
Wow.
Right? So the Sunday I went back, I swear to God, it's like a dream, because the woman I thought it was, I actually saw her 2 years ago. Now, mind you, I've been coaching since 2005, and I just saw this woman again. And I went up to her and I said, you know what, I never thanked you. And she looked at me like, what are you talking about? It was at a fair I saw it. And I said, you supported me to sort of go and do what I'm doing. She goes, I don't even know who you are.
Wow.
Right? So I was like, well, was I dreaming or is this real? But I do remember the jar and the lady and the conversation. I do remember it. But I swear to you, I think angels move amongst us. They appear when we most need them. But we have to be open, because they don't come like we think they're going to come down with these wings and stuff. They just come as regular folk, right? So that, after I gave her the jar and said, that's your last and final jar, because I know exactly what I'm going to do, that Monday, the NYU catalog came in the mail. I didn't go to NYU. I didn't remember doing anything at NYU. It wasn't for me. It was for the guy that lived in the other side of our building in the same apartment number, but they put it in my box because he had moved out. And I was like, wow. I opened the page. And you have to be able to recognize opportunities, and you have to be able to recognize when gifts are coming.
Yeah.
I truly believe that, right? And I don't think you have to be religious to recognize these things.
Right.
The first page that opened up, it was like life coaching course, right? And I was like, oh shit. I came in, made the phone call. They said, and it happened to me like this with real estate as well. Made the phone call. When is it starting? It's starting tomorrow. Can I show up? Yes, just show up. Showed up, paid, got in the class. The rest was history. Like 6 or 7 months later, I got my certification. But I would say that I was trained. I was not taught.
Yes.
So everything that I had to learn was a ton of reading, a ton of courses, practicing, you know. I wrote when we were at, when we went to Fabienne, you know, she gave us that big binder.
Yes.
And we had to study the binder. I sat down with my head in the binder and I would write, and you know, you had to write your elevator pitch. Well, I don't have an elevator in my building. So what I would use was the crosswalk.
Right.
So I'd meet a stranger at the crosswalk, start a conversation, and I had to have that pitch be done by the time we got to the other side of the street.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's how I did it. Just make games up. That's what I did. Make up games and play inside of my, you know, inside of my industry and my field and what I love. And so I think that is, that's kind of how I do what I do. It's got to be fun. It's got to be created as some kind of fun, and to ignite that energy, to ignite that spirit that is inside of me. And that's what's important to me.
I love that. I love that, because you're sharing with attractive thinkers a different perspective, another approach, because when you think of the word entrepreneur, sometimes it's scary, but like you mentioned during some of our conversations, you said that's a lot of pressure, you know, to think, you know, you have to be an entrepreneur, you have to be this boss lady, you know, and you have to create this global business with multiple millions of dollars. And I love your approach, because your focus is happiness, your focus is being fully self-expressed. Mm-hmm. You love having fun just being you.
Right.
You get clients just being you.
Right.
Just, you know, going throughout, you're not on social media chasing down clients. You're getting them in the coffee shop and maybe in the supermarket. And
on the bus, right? I mean, all over. And I talk to everybody. You know, yesterday I went across the street. Like I was going across the street to get some nori, the Japanese sushi wrap.
Yes.
Right. And I said to my friend of mine, said, "You're the mayor of the neighborhood." And I said to myself, you know what, this time I'm going to challenge between going from my apartment, which is across 2 little streets, right? And then like maybe 30 yards on when I get on the side of the grocery store, how many people I'm going to say hello to within 10 minutes. It was a person per minute. Hey, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? You know, it just, because my friend, and then the friend that said it came by. And I said, you're my number 10. And he goes, because I don't know how you do it. I said, I love people. I love people.
That's exactly what I experienced when I experienced you. You know, when we first met, you were just fully expressed. I recognized immediately that you didn't have a problem sharing your voice. You were very vocal, you could speak out, and you were authentic, you know. You weren't presenting yourself as a perfect person. You weren't afraid to share your flaws. So,
right.
You know, and when you're a person like that, you also give other people permission to be the same.
Permission to be like permission. Because like when you take a lot of these development courses and coaching and things like that, what we're seeking is permission. It's not even, it lives like permission, but it's validating who we know ourselves to be.
Yes.
You know, my first workshop I did was Tony Robbins. And it was like, you know, he used to have that unleash the power within. And he used to come across.
Yes.
He used to come across the TV like every night.
Yeah.
Unleash the power within. And this big, ginormous guy with his big freaking hands that look like atoms. And it was like every night. My husband, at the time I was married and my husband worked nights. It was every night, and I was new to the country, every night. And I was like, you know what, Tony, I'm gonna order your thing, because he had a cashback guarantee. All it is, and it doesn't work. I am sending it back. Right? And I did it. Like I did the whole thing. Wow. And I remember sitting in my kitchen, standing in my kitchen in my tiny New York apartment kitchen and going, and there was one question he says, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So at the time I was working in corporate, I was working in finance, and I was executive assistant to one guy, but I worked with 40 men, right? I love those men. I'm still friends with them today, some of them anyway. And I remember thinking about it, and I broke down at the kitchen counter, and I was like, oh my God, 5 years from now, I'm gonna have all these youngsters telling me what to do. They're gonna be younger than me, and they're gonna be my boss, and they're gonna be telling me what to do, and I'm gonna be old and miserable, and it's just gonna be awful, right? That was the visual I saw, and I was like, it can't happen. Now, I loved those people that I worked with, right? I loved getting up and going into work with them and stuff like that. But it's not what I saw for myself. I remember being in class, English class, reading El Manto Diablo, which is a book that I was reading with this teacher, and she was a great English teacher. And thinking, oh God, I was 13. I would like to have my own business when I grow up. But I didn't know what that was going to be. Right. And I was I think I was 32 when I was having this meltdown. And every day I had thought about it, every day. And I used to make money in different ways, in good ways, fun ways, but I never equated that to working for self. Finally, I said to myself, I've been in this country 10 years. I'm originally from England, if you haven't noticed. And I've been in this country 10 years, and I just bought an apartment. I bought the apartment. Yeah, I bought 10 years. I bought my apartment, I think 3 years after being here or whatever. And I was like, I don't even know my neighborhood. So I said, you know what? I had just gotten a promotion on this job, gotten the money I wanted because I had the connections and the friends, and I knew who to talk to. When they said they didn't want to give me the money I wanted, I went straight to the top because we were friendly. I used to ride on his boat on the weekends with him and his family. That's me, right? And he said, why then won't they give it to you? And I said, that's, I don't know. And then he called down and they gave it to me. And then like 2 weeks later, I'm like, I can't do this. I'm out. I can't do this. And then I left. I said, I'm going to ride my bike for a month around my neighborhood. I'm just going to ride my bike, look at the trees, look at the flowers, look at the houses, get to know the neighborhood. I live in Fort Greene. So back then there was a lot happening in Fort Greene, Mos Def, Common, the rappers, all of that, Erykah Badu, there was a whole music and art scene, which I was not privy to, right? And then it dawned on me, that's how I became a real estate broker, because I used to read the real estate section every Sunday and go, oh, I could do this. I'm sure I could do this. I wonder if I could do this. And that Sunday, same ritual, I realized I could do it. And then things open up. A friend of mine called. The moment I said, yeah, I could do this, I'm going to find out about this. A friend called and said, you want to go to a shower, baby shower? I was like, no. She goes, please. I said, okay. Went to the baby shower. Who did I meet? Real estate broker. Boom, the rest was history. And I need to tell you the rest of that story. Wow. 2 weeks. In that time, you could do the exam in 2 weeks, and you could get a certification or your license. And one of the things I realized, I never really asked for a job. I was always given jobs because of this accent, right? And I'm sure other things. And I asked her, and she said, yeah, and that was it. That was perfect for me. Right? So I always ask my clients to window shop on your life. What do you focus on? What do you spend time watching? What shows do you watch? What magazines do you, pick up? What books do you read? What do you like to talk about? Focus and window shop on your life. You will find that that thing that you want to do is something that you're already thinking about.
Exactly.
Right? And then you can start to investigate and open it up and see if it's a passion. And if it is a passion, go forth and multiply. If it's not, let it go and go look for something else.
I love that. I love that what you're saying, because I was thinking when you were talking about how you lead with joy, you know, your expression is you want to just experience joy and happiness in what you're doing. And as business owners, when you have to lead from somewhere, because it affects and governs all of your decisions going forward. For example, if you're leading with joy as a business owner, that means you know what clients to take on and what clients to not have.
Yeah, I call it cherry picking. You can cherry pick who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with.
Yeah.
And they get an opportunity to do that too, because if you're straight with yourself, I'm not for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. You know, I'm just not. And I'm okay with that, right? I don't want to work with everybody anyway. I only work with 20 clients a year. And if they want to roll over and work another year, great. Because my oldest clients are 17, 11, and 8 years, right? So if they want to work on, let's go for it. But I only work with 20 clients and I cherry pick them. I don't want everybody.
So what if attractive thinkers, you know, because when they're stepping into this self-love and self-expression, you know, trusting yourself is a big issue, trusting how you're feeling. What if they're having a problem owning how they feel, you know, what their heart is really saying, you know, and what if they're wrong about what they're feeling? You know, what if they're thinking that because they feel this way, then I must be this way? Talk to us about that.
Well, I think that if you feel this way, I must be that way. What is that feeling? Is it a good feeling or is it a bad feeling? Or what does that feeling to you? Because I can't say it's a bad feeling, right? It's just a feeling. And then we label it. Does it work for you? Does it not work for you? You know, what is it that you want to get out of this feeling? Right? We're not our feelings. We have feelings. We have feelings. I used to say feelings are like fart. That too will pass.
That is so simple and so easy and so freeing, Noreen. That is so freeing when you take that approach, because other than that, thinking that you are what you're feeling, it can take you down this dark rabbit hole. You know,
it will take you down the road. And look, how do I know these things? Because I've done these things, right? I remember standing in my apartment on Washington Avenue and going, oh my God, I'm going to be old by the time I'm a coach. Right? And then in the next breath, it was like, yeah, but you'll have so much more experience to share. And then I let it go. Right? When I first started coaching and I left NYU, I remember I said, I want to make $150 an hour. And the people, I was the only person of color in the class. And they were like, nobody's going to pay you $150 an hour. I was like, why? I said, I wanted to be a rock star coach and I want to have clients fly me in and, you know, have fun. It's a part of the fun, right? And somebody fly me into, you know, for an hour or whatever. I don't know, right? Maybe stay in their guest house and coach them for, you know, a little while or whatever, right? And they were like, that's how they looked at me, like, right? Because I was so verbal. There was one guy, he hated it. But, you know, so my first, when I first started coaching, I was charging $75 an hour. Now, mind you, I was coming from being a realtor, making $360-something thousand, right? And I was like, how am I going to do this? Because in real estate, what I was doing is just showing. I'm just showing. Like, you know, we meet, hey, I take your, you know, take all your information. I listened, and I was really good at that. Showed you what I had, you said yeah, and then all I do is do the work to make it happen, right? Like I was really fast at that, make it happen. And I was like, when in being a coach, I'm not showing anything, I am the it. So I had to build my confidence, right? And how do you build your confidence? You build your confidence through experiences.
That's right, say that again. That's right.
Build your confidence through experiences, taking risks. It was the risk, right? Like for me, it was like, I can't serve two masters. I can't serve real estate and coaching at equal pace. So one of them had to go. Real estate, people ringing my door, ringing my bell like crazy, ringing my phone like crazy. Right, no, can you do this? And I was like, I can't serve to, and it was difficult to pull away because that money was good, right? And it was easy. It was easy because I knew it. This wasn't easy because I was growing it. I was developing self, right? So from making a really good income to making $75 an hour, my conversation about myself was, and that, mind you, I had a nice fat cushion, right? It didn't stop me from doing all the things I wanted to do. But my conversation about myself was that, oh shit, I'm poor. I'm charging $75 an hour. I could rent an apartment and make that. Well, not rent an apartment and make multiples of that, right? And I was poor. My first lesson was word. What comes out your mouth is what people hear, right? So that $75 an hour, I met these two women who were in the class with me when I was doing my coaching, and we agreed to do this event together, right? Mind you, they're PhDs and masters and all this stuff. I'm just like your regular, college graduate, but I have life experience and I have emotional intelligence. And I was saying to the woman, God, I'm really broke. I'm poor. I'm only making $75 an hour. I'm really broke. I'm really poor. I was repeating it, unconsciously repeating. So the space was $150 and we decided that we're going to split it, 50 each, right? So we go to the event to do the event, and I've got my $50 in my bag to give to her, but we jumped in and we were doing it and I didn't get to give her $50. So next day I'm talking to the other woman and I said, shoot, I forgot to give so-and-so her $50. So the woman said to me, yeah, she's kind of worried about that. I said, it's $50. It's $50. What am I gonna do? Leave the fucking country, excuse my language, right? She says, yeah, she's worried about it because you're always saying you have no money and you're poor. And I was like, oh, snap. I created that. I said I'm poor. And the transmission went from me to her. And now she has me as poor and I can't afford $50. That was a lesson learned. What comes out of here goes out into the world of people, because I'm a world, you're a world. Goes out into that world, that gets transmitted, which she transmitted that idea to the other lady, and it came back to me, and I got the lesson. Right?
There is a connection.
So what we say is critical. What we say creates the world that we're living in. So I was living in the world of being poor, because I was only making $75, right, an hour with clients, but yet I had a good cushioning, but I didn't make that connection because I had been saying, I'm poor, my money's running out, my money's running out, my money's running out, because I wasn't replenishing it with what I was accustomed to, right? Now, mind you, I've never not had money, even if it's only $8, because I remember my checking account through this journey went down to $8.96, which I said, a sandwich and a Coke. If I bought a sandwich and a Coke, I'd be fucked.
Yeah, that was how you wanted to experience joy.
Right, and I had that sandwich and a Coke, that $8.96 that my account went down to. I remember having a conversation with a girlfriend and saying, girl, I got $8.96 in my account. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then I got people coming to town and da, 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 da. And this voice in my head, my unconscious mind said, shut the fuck up.
My God.
Right? Shut up. You are a liar. You know exactly what to do. I apologized to my friend and I said, you know what? I just told you a big fat lie. I know exactly what I've got to do. I'll talk to you later. and got to work. And in a matter of days, clients, But these are all lessons.
Yes.
I had to learn. These are all, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Noreen, but that right there, what you just said about that voice, that contrary voice to the goals that you have and what you want to do, and the fullest expression of yourself. If attractive thinkers don't know that that's a real thing, because, most of the time they think that that voice is them. And if you're owning it as that's who you are, then you feel like you'll never be able to fully express yourself, or especially stepping into self-love, because that voice is not loving at all.
Well, the voice that I was pushing out, which is, I don't know what I'm going to do, but there's a higher voice, the unconscious, that knows exactly what to do. Some people call it soul, a soul voice. Right? But it's the unconscious voice, or whatever that voice you call it. It knows exactly what to do. And I had to learn to listen to that voice. How did I learn to listen to that voice? I spent a year at home. All I did was what I was supposed to do, and I'd come back home. Now, I was usually out socializing, eating, dancing, going out with friends, going on vacation. I took a year, and a friend of mine, she would call me all the time. You want to come out? I'd be like, no. What are you doing? I'm sitting home. What are you doing? I said, I'm reading. What are you doing? Just meditating. What are you doing? Just sitting on the couch. She goes, when are you going to come back? I was like, listen, I'm fine. I'm fine. Nothing's wrong with me. And I realized, you had to go through that dark night of the soul where I had to clean out because when I left real estate was who I was. The mayor was who I was. Being known as a realtor was who I was. It was easy. Then I had to scrap that. Just literally scrap it and recreate from nothing. It was scary as all get up. Right? And so 2 scary points. You leave what you know, which is going to work, getting a paycheck. Whether you sit at your job and do this, or whether you sit at your job and do this, right? You're going to get paid on a job.
That's right.
Right? So when you say, I'm going to leave the work world where I get a paid job, whether I do work or whether I sit there and pick my nose, I'm going to get a paycheck. You have to detoxify. Right? For one of a better way to express what I'm trying to say here. Right? You have to detox from getting a regular paycheck. It's scary to creating a paycheck from yourself.
Yes.
Actually, in real estate, I didn't have to detox from that, because I went into real estate. My first week, I made money. And for the years that I was there, I think I was a realtor for 16 years, right? I made money every week, right? So it was because it was fun. Right? With this now, I have to recreate myself. Who am I? I am the product sharing with people, right? I'm the coach. I have to learn my craft. I have to hone my skills. I have to develop myself.
Yes.
And these are all the things. I had to detox from getting a paycheck, going to a 9 to 5. Now I have to set up my own structures. I had the moments where the TV was on, whatever was happening. Then I had to realize, oh, this is not going to work, blah, 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 to get to this point. And you're always forever growing and growing. We can't go from, I have a client that says to me, she's making a small amount of money and she wants to go to making $500,000, right? Who do you have to become to go from that to that? It's not an overnight sensation. When people say, I want to go from this to this in a year, special people who are really there are people who can do that, but there are people that can't do that.
That's right.
Right? And there's steps that we have to develop, and it's an evolution that we have to go through. I call it bending. Right? Bending the evolution is go to work, come home, go to work, come home. I'm accustomed. I come from a family of going to work, come home, going to work, come home for 30 years. And there was a time when I'd be like, why can't I just be that? Why can't I just be satisfied with going to a job?
That's very common. I like what you said. Why can't? How many? Oh my God! How many business owners have said that. Why can't I just be normal like everybody else? Why can't I be comfortable with the 9 to 5, what everybody else is doing? Why do I always have to make waves? Why do I always have to step out of the boat? Why do I always have to, do things that ruffle feathers, And I believe.
Why do I have to be extra?
That's good. Oh my God, somebody called me extra. That. What? Somebody called me that recently. It says, stop being so extra. They're failing to realize that I am extra. And like you said, self-love, I fully own it. I am extra. I want more. I want the brighter one, the best one, the shiny one, the tastier one. I am extra. Extra means above average. I don't want the average. I don't want the brown plate. I want if the brown plate is all they had, you have a choice. I could leave, or I could just accept the brown plate. I'm okay accepting the brown plate because I might be accepting the brown plate with people that I love around me. Right.
So it's okay. It's being able to choose effectively and not be arrogant or a shitty person about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, people I cuss, I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Right?
But you're right. You don't have to be arrogant in your preferences, in your form of self-love.
When you know who you are, you're okay. You don't have to be, what there is like boss lady. Yeah, I'm a boss bitch. I am not a bitch. Don't call me a bitch. Don't refer to me as a bitch. Don't call me a boss bitch. Don't call me mega bitch, mogul bitch. Don't call me any kind of bitch.
I know that's right.
A bitch is a dog, and I do not have 4 legs.
Yeah.
Right? I don't do, and that's another thing. People come with, some people, not all people, they come with colloquialisms. I'm keeping it real. What do you mean by that? Well, you know what I mean. No, I don't know what you mean. Tell me what you mean. Right? And then some people will get like really upset because now they have to think. Keeping it real, what does that actually mean to you?
When you said, people and experiencing, other people's expression or view of you, when it comes down to self-love, that was one of the things I wanted to ask you to highlight before we close out today. How, when you're operating in self-love and you're being this fullest expression of yourself, everybody's not going to like that. You're going to get some resistance. In a self-love way, like you said, you don't have to be arrogant. What are some of the things that attractive thinkers can have in place, or what are some of the foundational truths and beliefs? What state of being do you have to be in to be okay with the backlash that you get from fully being yourself?
Well, I remember, this happened. This happened to me a bunch of times where people say, when I met you, I didn't like you. Right?
I've heard that.
Right? When I met you, I didn't like you. And I'm like, okay, you didn't like me. Okay, have we ever spoken? And they'd be like, no. So how do you know you didn't like me? Well, I didn't like how you were being. I said, how was I being? You just seemed so happy, and you were just like, you'd say what you needed to say, and you'd be like silly, and you'd laugh, and and all that. And I just really hated you. So I said, and now we love you. I said, listen to what you missed out on. You could have loved me a lot sooner. And now you can't get enough. And they'd be like, yeah, now we really love you. And it really does take confidence to do that. Because years and years ago, if somebody said, we really don't like you, I'd be like, why? Not realizing that they have the right to not like me.
Yeah.
They don't have to like me. And they don't have to agree.
Have a reason. That's
right. And they don't have to agree with anything but over time, remember I was crying in my apartment, I'm going to be old when I start coaching. It was perfect. Now I know it's perfect. I don't have to fight for my right to be.
That's good.
Right? I don't have to fight. I'm a Black woman. If you can't tell. I mean, I've heard that I'm not Black enough also, but that's another story, right? I'm a Black woman, and I go anywhere. I don't know if you've seen my social media. There's a picture of me with the KKK in Stone Mountain, right? I saw them. I wanted to have a conversation with them. I went and had a conversation with them. And I said, let's take a picture. They don't have to like me. No one has to like me. I like me. Right? And I'm not going to do anything to harm people. I'm not going to fight you for your right. If you want to call me whatever you want to call me, a donkey, call me a donkey. Great. Do you want to ride? I mean, I really don't care. Right? I did enough scrapping as a young person, right? I don't have to scrap today. I don't. It's not important.
And that comes from growth. You had to grow to that level of self-expression, that level of self-love. And attractive thinkers, this is what we want to share with you today. And I trust that Noreen's authentic, transparent message and her entrepreneurial experience has shined the light on what it is that you do in your business, these desires and dreams and ideas that you have as a business owner, because it's okay to be you. It's okay.
That's all there is.
Yeah, that's all there is.
It's too much work trying to be something else.
And not be you and be who. And who would be a better version of you being you than you?
Absolutely.
And you know, I used to hear coaches say, and thought leaders and speakers say, you have to find that one thing that you can do that nobody else can do. And it sends us on this wild goose chase. This is the one thing that I can do. You know, one of my coaches said to me, Tony, the one thing that you can do that nobody else can do is be you.
That's right.
You. Let's solve.
And I'm the best in the world in what I do.
Yes.
I'm the best in the world at what I do.
Absolutely.
Right. And you're the best in the world at what you do.
Absolutely.
Right. And it really is like important to be fully, you know, like whatever you have to vomit up to be fully you, vomit it up.
My God.
Vomit it up. Because it's not going to serve you like it wouldn't serve me. This is me. Yeah. I don't know how to be anything else.
Yes.
I don't want to be anybody else. I love me.
And that goes back to our topic. What if you're wrong about how you're feeling? What if it's okay to feel that way? What if that's really you? A lot of times, Noreen, because of conditioning, we deny how we really feel, which is our authentic self, because we've been conditioned to fit this mold or that mold, or we're supposed to look this way or that way. We're supposed to do business this way and not that way. But what if you're wrong about what you're feeling? What if your feelings have been there all along, trying to guide you to joy, guide you to a business that produces the happiness that you desire, but you've been trying to create your business inside of this mold that you've been conditioned. Right. That's what entrepreneurship looks like. But
right. And it's not that they're not being authentic or that they're being inauthentic. They're being authentically being not them until they authentically realize, oh, you know, I was doing this, I was following this crowd, I was listening to this stuff, and now I realize it doesn't work for me. You weren't being inauthentic. You just didn't have what you need to realize, oh, this doesn't work for me now. Now I'm going to step in. You were being authentic over there. Now I'm going to step into this version of my authentic self.
That's good. That is so good. Self-expression, self-love. Look, Noreen, talk to us about, you have a 21-day challenge going on.
Oh, yes, my 21-day. So I have a 21-day challenge. It's really a lot of fun. I truly believe this 21-day challenge was downloaded to me, right? It came through the ethos, or it was there inside my head, and the molecules just came together that day. The 21-day challenge is it's called Love Self-Expression. And inside of love self-expression, it's having you really have a look at you. So there'll be day-to-day things to do, like observations. Observe the way you're speaking to yourself inside your head. Observe how much time you spend inside of your head rather than taking actions. Observe your environment, right? Because your environment looks like what I know. When my apartment is messy, my head is messy. And I have a limit, then I have to clean it up and start again. Right? I used to make myself wrong because I had shame around it. Messy apartment, shame, because that's how my parents raised me. Look at the place, look at messy, how you live like this? Right? So shame, right? That wasn't my conversation, that was their conversation. Now I know I have a threshold, right? it's also go interview, you have to interview a bunch of, this is where a lot of people drop out of the 21-day challenge. And it takes courage to do this. Let's do this. You have to go interview 3 people, one you love, one you highly respect and are probably afraid to ask questions, and just somebody else, a friend, or just ask 3 people. And there are questions that you are to ask these people. What do you like about me? What don't you like about me? You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's our friendship? If it's not a 10, what would it take to be to a 10, right? If I were an animal, what animal would I be and why? And if people were talking about me in the locker room, what would they say? Right? This is where a lot of people jump off because they get afraid. Right? So the 21-day challenge is a series of daily actions, and what they do, it comes through on the internet, starts at the first of the month every month, and it comes through on the internet. That I made an audio as well as a written. So for people that like audio, there's written. I mean, there's the audio to listen to. Those are people that are audible. And if visual, if they can write it. And I'm even going to get to the space where I've actually video recorded it, because that time I didn't do that, but I'll do that. So it's really great. And then inside of the 21-day challenge, you get an opportunity to come and have a one-to-one with me, right? Just like a hello call, and also a group call. It's yeah, so it's a wonder. I love it. It's wonderful. One woman I met her, she did the 21-day, and the 21-day challenge is actually a freebie that I give, because the 21-day challenge is a 5-week workshop that I do, right? And I just made it audio like that, free, so that, but the 5-week is 5 Saturdays with me. Inside of that, you get a personality assessment. You get to see where you need to have a breakthrough and where your areas are. And I found that a lot of people in the area of being, who they're being in their world is low. They don't take up space. They make themselves small. And you would be surprised, right? Because this personality assessment is awesome. There's people that I thought were supposed to be like really taking up space in the world, doing their thing. It shows that they don't take up space.
Wow.
Right? What they're doing, right? They might be really high activity, like they're doing, really go-getting. They're high in that area. And then in the area having, it's low. And then some people have a low certainty trait. They're like, it doesn't mean that they're not effective. They can be effective, but they might be wishy-washy in their yeses and their no, and they're not certain in things that they're up to. So they get the personality assessment. They get one-on-one coaching with me. And then occasionally, if I really like the person, I'll do their values, because I'm an NLP trained. I'll get them to see their values.
Wow, that is so awesome. Is there a link that you can share where attractive thinkers can sign up for the?
Well, I sent you the link that they can sign up. That link that I sent you, they can actually sign up for it. And then once they sign up for it, they're in the holding pitch to get the 21-day challenge. But I need to send you the link so that they can have a conversation about it. But I just have the conversation right here. So you just need to sign up.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll take the link that you sent me and post it in the description under this video so that they can have access to that. That sounds like a beautiful experience.
I love the 21-day challenge. And people have gotten so much out of it. I did it for a whole year as a beta. And I had this guy in Canada do it. And, you know, at the time I wanted to hear feedback, and he called me up and he goes, I'm just so mad. I'm just so upset. I'm like, what are you upset about? I fucking hate my brother. My brother. He hadn't talked to his brother in 5 years because he hated him. That's what he said. I fucking hate my brother. I'll never speak to him again. And I'm like, sounds to me like you love your brother. Because you wouldn't be crying if you don't like your brother or love your brother. You wouldn't be crying and you wouldn't be getting so passionate about it. At the end of the 21-day challenge, he had reached out to his brother.
Wow.
And invented their relationship. I love that, because family is baseline, you know? And if we can forgive ourselves, we can forgive what mama did or what daddy did. But you don't have to, but you can. Or if you don't want to, you can create space to release them. Because look, they did the best that they could. I think my parents did the best that they could do. And I was not an easy child, right? And that's why I don't have children. I knew that I never wanted children. Right? I love children, but I always knew that I never wanted them. But I always think, oh my God, if I had children, they're probably going to be 2.0 of me. You know, so it's like, just leave that alone.
You're not doing that.
Yeah, but I always knew that I didn't want to have children. And it's just, if people have said to me, you're selfish. No, you just have to choose what you want, you know? And I knew that wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, so, but yeah, the 21-day challenge is pretty amazing. You'll get to see some stuff about yourself that you didn't even know that you didn't even know.
Wow, that's so awesome. And it is an act of self-love to take this 21-day challenge.
Yeah.
It definitely, truly is.
It's called Love and Self-Expression 21-day challenge.
All right, you said it very clearly. Love and self-expression 21-day challenge. Attractive Thinkers, I'll post the link in the description part of this video. Noreen, thank you so much. It was such a beautiful opportunity to reconnect with you. And
thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing
Absolutely.
your message with the Attractive Thinker generation. Attractive Thinkers, remember, this experience is now on Amazon. Get your copy today of the Attractive Thinker. You don't want to miss that. It goes.
Oh, this video goes on Amazon?
No, this video is going on our Mental Health TV YouTube channel. Yes, what I'm speaking of is I just released a 726-page full color hardcover Attractive Thinker experience. I call it an experience. People see it and they call it a book, but that's the best form that I could put it in, the shape of a book, to get the resources and the tips and the strategies and the mental health resources to Attractive Thinkers while they're building their business. So it's now available on Amazon. I'm really excited about that. So you can have, access to that now. And I want you to always remember, Attractive Thinker, our life work, that's to make your life better. Remember, it is not what you're going through. It's how you're viewing it. Think attractively, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I had a lot of fun. It's nice to walk down memory lane because I never really sort of really think about the experience of it, the journey, unless I'm asked. And so it was really, thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for asking me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I just want to end with, I love what I do. And I think that, being an entrepreneur, boss lady, whatever, it's just love what you do. Yeah. Just love what you do, love who you be. And it's just all about love, because at the end of the day, when we are no longer here, our bodies are gone, it's the love that we left behind.
Yes, what a beautiful way to close out this message today. Thank you for being fully expressed in the world. You're the same, you're the same, you're the same as you were when I first met you. Yeah.
a few more grays, which
I know, but it looks good on you, girl.
I like it. I love it. All right, take care.
You as well.
Thank you so much. You have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, bye.